I want you to be brutally honest with yourself for a second. Think back to exactly 1 year ago today. Look at the problems you were stressing about. Look at the habits you swore you were going to break. Look at the goals you promised yourself you were finally going to hit. Now, look at your life today. If you are like the vast majority of people, your life hasn't really changed. Sure, the calendar says 2026, but you might have a different job title, or you might be living in a different apartment, but internally, you are running the exact same software. You are having the same arguments, feeling the same background anxiety, and hitting the exact same invisible ceiling. Why? Why is it so incredibly difficult to become a new version of yourself? It's not because you are lazy, and it is certainly not because you lack willpower. Today, we are going to look at the psychology of true reinvention. I am going to show you exactly why your brain violently rejects change, and I will give you the exact psychological blueprint to bypass that resistance so that 6 months from now you are entirely unrecognizable. Let's start with why change fails. Usually, when we want to reinvent ourselves, we focus on the external. We buy a new planner, we go a new gym, we download a productivity app, we try to change our environment and hope our identity follows. But psychology tells us that is completely backwards. In the 1980s, a psychologist named William Swan developed a concept called self verification theory. Swan discovered that human beings have a desperate biological need for psychological coherence. Our brain wants the outside world to match your inside beliefs. If deep down your internal narrative is I am an anxious person who never finishes what I start, your brain will actively hunt for situations to prove that narrative right. If you suddenly try to wake up at 5 am and go to the gym, your brain doesn't say great job. It hits the panic button. It says wait, this isn't us. We are the person who hits snooze and feels guilty. To your primitive brain, a loss of identity, even a negative identity, feels like death. So it sabotages you. It makes you feel exhausted. It makes you pick a fight with your partner. It pulls you back down to your baseline, not to punish you, but to protect your sense of who you are. If you want to reinvent yourself in 2026, you cannot just change your habits. You have to literally change your psychological baseline. Here is exactly how you do it. Right now, you probably describe yourself using definitive statements. I am a procrastinator. I am socially awkward. I am broke. In psychology, we use a tool called cognitive diffusion to break this. You have to separate who you are from what you experience. Instead of saying, I am socially awkward person, you must train your brain to say, I am currently experiencing feelings of social anxiety. Do you feel the difference? One is a life sentence, the other is just a passing weather pattern. To reinvent yourself, you need to mentally hold a funeral for your former self. You have to look at the version of you that got you here, thank them for keeping you alive, and then leave them in the past. Your past is just data, it is not a prediction of your future. When your brain tries to tell you, we always fail at this, you respond with the new code. That was the old version of us, the new version does things differently. Once you have separated yourself from your past, step 2 is building the new identity. And you do this through what behavioral psychologists call behavioral activation. You cannot think your way into a new personality, you have to act your way into it. But here is a secret, you don't need massive life changing actions, you need what I call minimum viable proof. Remember, your brain needs evidence to believe this new identity is real. If you want to become a confident person, your brain needs data to prove you are confident. So, you start painfully small. If you want to be someone who is disciplined, your minimum viable proof is making your bed the second you feel hit the floor. That's it. Takes 30 seconds, but psychologically it's a massive victory. It sends a signal to your brain. Oh, we are the type of person who keeps our environment in order. If you want to become who is socially confident, your minimum viable proof is holding eye contact with the barista for just 1 second longer than usual and smiling. Every tiny action is a vote for your new identity. When you stack enough of these tiny votes together, self verification theory starts working for you instead of against you. Your brain eventually says, look at all this evidence. We must actually be a confident, disciplined person. And suddenly the hard things become effortless. Reinventing yourself in 2026 doesn't require a dramatic geographical move or completely new friend group. It requires the quiet daily refusal to be the person you were yesterday. It requires understanding that your brain will fight you. It will crave the comfort of your old misery and it will try to pull you back. But now you know exactly what it is doing. You know it is just a biological glitch, not a truth. For the next 6 months, I challenge you to cast tiny votes for the person you want to become. Change the narrative in your head. Gather your minimum viable proof and watch how quickly you become completely unrecognizable to the people who thought they had you figured out. If you are ready to leave your old self behind this year, leave a comment below saying, I am ready. Thank you so much for watching. I am proud of you for being here and I will see you in the next video.